Hey A&P peeps, this is Dr. Jones checking in. Let's talk about the sensory slides for AMP2 Lab 1. This is one of your sensory slides here. Let's move my floating face out of the way. And what slide is this? We're in the orange booklet on page 4. That's right, this is the olfactory epithelium. This is in the nasal cavity. So this edge here, let me turn my pen on. This edge here is the olfactory epithelium. I'm writing with my mouse, so I do apologize for my handwriting. Olfactory epithelium. Right here you can see a goblet cell. Goblet cell is a single-celled mucus gland and is found in the olfactory epithelium and lots of other epithelia in the body. And then what are these structures here? All of this stuff. This is an olfactory gland. The olfactory glands are multicellular mucus glands. Let's see, how do I turn the page? There we go. Okay, what is this slide? That's right, these are taste buds. So each grape here that I'm sort of outlining, and you can see it here too, these are taste buds. And you can see that they are to get to them, the molecules have to get into these recesses. Okay, and what is each of these bumps called? Each bump is that's right, it's a papilla. N. What is the plural of papilla? Papilla. Papillae. Okay, next slide. What in the world could that be? What is this slide? If you're following along in your orange booklet, we skipped ahead to the next slide, which is on page 6. This is the retina. This is the retina slide, the back of the eyeball. So the first thing on here is this little dark layer right here. What is this dark layer? This is the pigmented epithelium. Let's see if I have room to write that. Again, I'm writing with my mouse, so I apologize. Pigmented epithelium, there we go. And this next layer, and the next layer does go from like halfway here to all the way down here, but the easiest part to see are the nuclei. The nuclei stain darkly and they show up really well. And so what is this layer next to the pigmented epithelium with lots and lots of just stacks, piles, buckets of blueberries here? These are, and here you can either go photoreceptors or rods and cones. I'm going to go rods and cones because I can fit it better. And yes, the whole cells go from maybe about here all the way down here. I'm pointing to the nuclei only just because they're easier to see. And then what about this layer of blueberries that's like 2 or 3 blueberries thick? These are the bipolar cells. And what are these little blueberries on top here? The last layer, ganglion cells. Okay, next slide. Okay, so we're skipping in the book on now to page 8. And what slide is this? This is the Crysta ampullaris slide. So the Crysta, I'm supposed to ask you the question, not tell you. Is this whole peninsula here is the Crysta? And then this little thin, you can barely see it layer. This is the cupula. And next, let's see if I can change colors. Green will show. There is a layer of cells right here. The green really shows, doesn't it? Across the lines, but it's a different color. So what are these? Hair cells. There you go. Next slide. And this will be our last slide on this video. What is this? It looks just like the model. It's the cochlea slide. That's right. So I always start here with this line. And this is the vestibular membrane. And then what is this space here? That's right, vestibular duct. I'm going with the English for this video. And then what is this one here? The space, cochlear duct. Which leaves this space down here is the tympanic duct. Trying to give a space after the question and before the answer so that you can pause and think of the answer, write it down, and then when I write it down, you can check your spelling. Okay, now this whole region here has a name. What is that? Oh, it has 2 names. All right, either one works. For this one, we can go the English spiral organ. So the other one's English also, it's just the older term. The newer term, spiral organ, or the older term, organ of Cordy. Let's go to slash. Either way works. Please don't put both on the lab test. Put one or the other, whichever one you can remember fastest. Okay, I think I'm going to switch colors back to black again. Okay, this bottom layer right here has a term. I'll go down here. What is it? I'll give you a hint. It's the base layer. Too big a hint. All right. Basilar layer. And that's B-A-S-I-L-A-R, yes. Basilar membrane. Membrane for the test, not layer. Okay, and then what is this? Shaped like a tongue. And it starts with a T. Tectorial membrane. Make sure I'm spelling it right. T-E-C-T-O-R-I-A-L. And then in this area, and on this slide, you can't see them very well. They're right there though. So these are the hair cells. If you can see them and you can see the inner hair cells and the outer hair cells, feel free to put inner hair cells on the lab test or outer hair cells on the lab test. But on like this slide, I just put hair cells because you can't really see the difference. Okay, and then we have this thing right here. And this is the spiral ganglion. Okay, that was our last slide. So this has been all about the sensory slides on ANP2 Lab Test 1. Thank you as always for tuning in. The education must go on. Dr. J out.